There, I was over at Reddit and I found an interesting Excel question from LSatyreD who asks about sorting some recipes. So it says that he's got a large spreadsheet with thousands of rows and columns. And in the first row, going across the top, he's got ingredients. And in the first column, going along the side in column A, there are recipe names. And where they intersect is the amount of that ingredient in that recipe. And he would like to reshape the data. The result should look like this. Recipe 1, ingredient amount, recipe 2, ingredient amount, onward. So you see ingredient 1, ingredient 8, ingredient 15. Beautiful. Here I've replicated 4 recipes, a lot of ingredients going over the top. Apple pie, coffee, carrot cake. We have vanilla extract in I1, dried powdered milk in K1. We see that 2 tablespoons of margarine belong with bread. 1 cup of walnuts is associated with carrot cake. So how do we get the data the way he wants it? I am going to go with a Power Query solution. I've got Excel 2016. Go to Data, Get and Transform section, From Table, because the data is in a table. Here is the Get and Transform editor. Got the data. Highlight the recipe row. Let's think about this. The data looks like a pivot table. It has column headers, row headers, and the intersections correspond with the data in each header. That's a pivot table. So in order to get what the asker wants, we have to unpivot. Recipe column is highlighted. Go to Transform, unpivot other columns. There we go. Unpivot even took care of the empty cells. Home, close and load. Here is our raw data, the unpivoted data. Now, let's make a pivot table. Insert, pivot table, new worksheet. Take the recipe, bring that down here. The attribute, bring that down. And then we're going to bring the value down as well. Now we have to tighten up the pivot table display. With the pivot table like this, we just have to go to Report Layout, Show in Tabular Form, and now we have our recipes along the side, and we know apples. We know we need 3 whole apples for this apple pie. By using Power Query, we can update our data. So we're going to add another recipe. We're going to go over here and say grilled salmon. And our ingredients are salmon, 1.5 pounds. And salt is to taste. Garlic powder to taste. an important thing that we have to do with the Power Query solution is refresh our query. So I'm going to go to Data, Show Queries, and I want to refresh my query. Okay. Grilled salmon shows up. And has grilled salmon showed up here? Not yet. Refresh the pivot table. And there's our grilled salmon. Now, one thing that we can do that I've just noticed is go into our query and edit it. I want to change this column to ingredient and this to amount. Let's close and load. Refresh. We just have to build this back to put the ingredients under recipe and amount under ingredient. And here we are. We've got our recipe, ingredient, amount. And that looks like the solution that we were looking for. All right. There you go. Use tables, use Power Query. Keep your data clean.